Hello guys, and welcome to this live edition of Sunday Frog Radio for Sunday the 16th. I'm going to do a little bit of live streaming of me flying the F86, the North American F86 Sabre jet, and do an extremely brief frog radio. DCS has just been updated and my track IR seems not to be working. Wearing my track IR headset right now and it's non-responsive. Okay, so it works on the outside of the vehicle but not on the inside very well. This is one of the quick missions in DCS, and they choose the paint scheme for the vehicle. There's a few different quick missions. The dogfight one, you're in a Japanese Sabre against some MiG-15s, and this is the ground attack mission. And I've got some rockets which I can fire at the press of a button. As I say, this is going to be an extremely short frog radio. The reason for that is because I've got to go on a business trip, and I'll be back in a couple of days' time. And so there won't really be any substantial content from Froggy Frog 9000 channel for the next couple of days. Just briefly want to discuss what you might see on the Froggy Frog 9000 channel in 2019. Excuse me, and I mean really briefly discuss it because I really do have to rush out the door. But here's just some basic things. There might well be some camping trips, and I mean long solo camping trips. I actually have put a few of my trips from years gone by on the channel already, particularly to Victoria and to the desert of Western Australia. You can see my trips there, and they include some metal detecting. So in 2019 you might see some solo, pretty bloody hardcore camping trips into the desert or the bush in Australia. There's equivalents of this already on YouTube, on channels in Canada in particular, where they'll go into the wilderness in Canada and they'll canoe down a river in snowy forest conditions for 6 days and things like that. I like doing that sort of thing. I've always liked doing that sort of thing, but obviously not in snowy conditions, more in desert conditions as befitting where I'm located. One trip that I did in the past, which I probably should have documented it on the channel, but I don't know. I was more or less just doing a video games channel back then. One trip I did a few years ago was to Tasmania, and I did that specifically to see if I could find the Tasmanian tiger. The Tasmanian tiger is a animal that used to exist, and they say that it's extinct, but there's lingering possibilities that the Tasmanian tiger still exists. I went on a trip to Tasmania to hunt for the Tasmanian tiger with a camera, and I didn't find it. And I went to the most remotest place in the southwest of Tasmania that I could find, and my conclusion was that although it's very remote down there, the kind of plants that are growing down there are just wrong to support a kind of a food chain ecosystem that would support a apex predator like a Tasmanian tiger. And just in brief, the reason for that is there's no grass down there. Usually, and correspondingly, you don't see any kangaroos down there. In my whole trip, climbing over mountains and everything, I saw one wallaby, only one wallaby, which is a kind of a kangaroo. And there's really nothing down there for a Tasmanian tiger to eat. And it seems that the last sightings of Tasmanian tigers, whenever they were in the 60s or something, were actually in the northeast, and in general in the north and the east of Tasmania. And the countryside in the northeast is very lush and it's full of grass. And my hypothesis is that lush grassy region, herbivore animals can eat and grow fat, and numerous there. And as a result, that is the area of Tasmania that would have been the most likely to support an ecosystem and a food chain that could support a apex predator like a Tasmanian tiger. Conversely, in the southwest of Tasmania, all you've got is a kind of a very sharp grass. It's not grass as such, I call it grass, but it's not. It's a sharp kind of a shrub that grows about 1 to 2 feet high and about 2 feet to 3 feet in diameter. And it's this kind of one of those kind of razor grasses that if you walk past it in shorts, it'll cut you. And that's all they've got out there for hundreds and hundreds of square kilometres. And kangaroos and wallabies can't eat that razor shrub. It's just the wrong. It's not really a food. It's just it's so sharp that nothing can eat it, and so it's proliferated across the southwest of Tasmania. So although the southwest is very isolated, and you'd expect that to be the place where you'd find your Tasmanian tiger, there's nothing down there for a Tasmanian tiger to eat, assuming that one existed. So that's a very, very small glimpse into my solo camping trips. There may well be a few of those in 2019 on the Froggy Frog 9000 channel, along with some metal detecting on those trips as well. My altitude is around 22,000 feet, and the plane is very sluggish. I really do like the paint scheme of this plane, this kind of green, olive drab green, but it's metallic because it's on a aluminium chassis fuselage. And down there we've got the targets. This is a ground attack mission. And pretty soon I'm going to fire some rockets. Heading straight down with the engine at idle. There we go. And I've just realised that this is in slow motion. plane's basically at the sound barrier, 900 odd kilometers an hour on the deck. I'll just fire off these rockets and that'll be it for this Sunday's Frog Radio. Looks pretty cool, huh? And got guns as well, 50 cals in the nose. Reasonably cool, huh? Alright guys, sorry for the brevity of this broadcast. I'll be back in a couple of days with more videos. Thanks for watching. Be a channel member. If you look near the subscribe button, there's a membership button. You can be a channel member. It's kind of like YouTube's alternative to Patreon. I think it's quite exciting. Or you can support the channel on Patreon in its own right. Please become a patron or a channel member and smash the like button, and of course subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And I'll catch you in a couple of days. Bye for now.